Welcome, dear listeners, to History with Herodotus, where we embark on a journey through the vast expanse of human experience, uncovering the hidden threads that weave our past into the present. Today, we find ourselves at the threshold of a fascinating tale, one that transports us to the sweeping steppes of Eurasia, where the winds whisper secrets of a bygone era. Our topic for today's episode is the enigmatic Scythian culture, a civilization that has captivated the imagination of scholars and enthusiasts alike for centuries. As we delve into the earliest history of the Scythian culture, let us first set the stage with a brief overview of this captivating civilization. The Scythians were a nomadic people who roamed the vast steppes of Eurasia, leaving behind a legacy of intricate artwork, sophisticated trade networks, and a rich cultural heritage. They were skilled warriors, adept at archery and horsemanship, and their society was organized into a complex system of tribes and clans. The origins of the Scythians are shrouded in mystery, but historians believe that they emerged from the vast expanse of the Eurasian steppes around the 9th century BCE. It is thought that they were descended from earlier nomadic tribes, such as the Cimmerians and the Massagetae, who had roamed the steppes for centuries. As we explore the earliest history of the Scythian culture, we find ourselves in the midst of a vibrant and dynamic world. The Scythians were skilled traders, establishing trade routes with neighboring civilizations such as the Assyrians, the Medes, and the ancient Greeks. They exchanged goods such as furs, honey, and wax for luxury items like gold, silver, and fine textiles. The Scythians were also known for their expertise in metalwork, particularly in the crafting of bronze and iron artifacts. One of the key figures in the early history of the Scythian culture is King Protathius, who ruled over the Scythians in the 7th century BCE. According to historical accounts, King Protathius was a wise and just ruler who expanded the Scythian territories through a series of military campaigns against neighboring tribes. He also established trade relations with the Medes, securing valuable trade agreements that helped to strengthen the Scythian economy. As we delve deeper into the earliest history of the Scythian culture, we find ourselves immersed in a world of myth and legend. The Scythians believed in a pantheon of gods and goddesses, including Tabiti, the goddess of fire, and Papaios, the god of the sky. Their mythology is filled with stories of great heroes and legendary creatures, such as the griffin and the Amazons. The Scythians also had a deep reverence for their ancestors, whom they believed played an active role in shaping their destiny. The Scythian culture was also characterized by its unique funerary practices, which included the construction of elaborate burial mounds known as kurgans. These kurgans were often adorned with intricate stone carvings and precious artifacts, reflecting the wealth and status of the deceased. The most famous of these kurgans is the Tolstaya Mogila, discovered in modern-day Ukraine, which dates back to the 4th century BCE. As we conclude our examination of the precursors and origins of the Scythian culture, we find ourselves poised on the threshold of a new era. The stage is set for the emergence of a truly remarkable civilization, one that would leave an indelible mark on the course of human history. Join me next as we embark on a journey through the most pivotal moments in Scythian history, a period marked by great triumphs, fierce conflicts, and unforgettable leaders. Welcome back to History with Herodotus, as we continue our journey through the fascinating tale of the Scythian culture. As we delve into the 6th century BCE, we witness the Scythians expanding their territories through a series of military campaigns against neighboring tribes. One of the most notable leaders of this period is King Ariontes, who ruled over the Scythians from around 610 to 590 BCE. According to historical accounts, King Ariontes was a skilled warrior and strategist who led his people to victory against the Medes and the Assyrians. He also established trade relations with the ancient Greeks, securing valuable trade agreements that helped to strengthen the Scythian economy. During this period, the Scythians continued to develop their unique culture, characterized by intricate artwork, sophisticated metalwork, and a rich spiritual heritage. They believed in a complex pantheon of gods and goddesses, including Tabiti, the goddess of fire, and Papaios, the god of the sky. Their mythology is filled with stories of great heroes and legendary creatures, such as the Griffin and the Amazons. The Scythians also had a deep reverence for their ancestors, whom they believed played an active role in shaping their destiny. One of the most notable aspects of Scythian culture during this period was their expertise in horsemanship. They were skilled horse breeders and trainers, and their cavalry was renowned for its speed and agility. The Scythians also developed a unique form of archery, using bows made from wood, horn, and sinew. Their arrows were tipped with bronze or iron points and were capable of piercing even the toughest armor. As we explore this period in Scythian history, we find ourselves in the midst of a vibrant and dynamic world. The Scythians were not isolated from other civilizations, but rather were part of a complex network of trade routes and cultural exchange. They interacted with neighboring tribes, such as the Thracians and the Celts, and even had contact with more distant cultures, like the Egyptians and the Chinese. One of the most fascinating examples of Scythian culture during this period is the discovery of the Siberian Ice Maiden, a remarkably well-preserved mummy found in the Altai Mountains. The Ice Maiden, who lived around 500 BCE, was a noblewoman or priestess, buried with an elaborate headdress, jewelry, and other precious artifacts. Her tomb provides a unique glimpse into Scythian funerary practices, which included the use of tattoos, ritual sacrifice, and elaborate burial rituals. As we conclude our examination of this pivotal period in Scythian history, we find ourselves poised on the threshold of a new era, one that would see the Scythians face great challenges and opportunities. The stage is set for the emergence of new leaders, new conflicts, and new cultural developments. Join me next as we embark on a journey through the most tumultuous moments in Scythian history, a period marked by fierce battles, legendary heroes, and unforgettable events. Welcome back to History with Herodotus, as we continue our journey through the fascinating tale of the Scythian culture. As we delve into the 3rd century BCE, we witness the Scythians facing great challenges and opportunities. The rise of powerful neighboring empires, such as the Macedonians and the Romans, posed a significant threat to Scythian dominance. One of the most notable leaders of this period is King Aetheus, who ruled over the Scythians from around 270 to 260 BCE. According to historical accounts, King Aetheus was a skilled warrior and strategist who led his people to victory against the Macedonians and attempted to forge alliances with other neighboring tribes. However, despite these efforts, the Scythian Empire began to decline, weakened by internal conflicts, external pressures, and the loss of their traditional way of life. The Scythians had always been a nomadic people, living in harmony with the vast steppes of Eurasia. However, as they came into contact with more sedentary civilizations, they began to adopt more settled practices, such as agriculture and urbanization. This shift away from their traditional lifestyle led to a loss of cultural identity and a decline in their unique skills and traditions. One of the most notable examples of this decline is the disappearance of the Scythian art of horsemanship. The Scythians had always been renowned for their expertise in horse breeding, training, and riding. However, as they adopted more sedentary practices, their horses became less important to their daily lives, and their skills in horsemanship began to fade. This loss of a traditional skill not only weakened the Scythian military, but also eroded their cultural heritage. As we explore this period in Scythian history, we find ourselves in the midst of a complex and dynamic world. The Scythians were not isolated from other civilizations, but rather were part of a vast network of trade routes, cultural exchange, and conflict. They interacted with neighboring tribes, such as the Sarmatians and the Alans, and even had contact with more distant cultures, like the Chinese and the Indians. The decline of the Scythian Empire also led to a loss of their unique spiritual heritage. The Scythians had always believed in a complex pantheon of gods and goddesses, including Tabiti, the goddess of fire, and Papaios, the god of the sky. However, as they came into contact with other civilizations, they began to adopt new religious practices and beliefs. This shift away from their traditional spirituality led to a loss of cultural identity and a decline in their unique rituals and practices. As we conclude our examination of the decline of the Scythian Empire, we find ourselves poised on the threshold of a new era, one that would see the emergence of new powers and civilizations in the Eurasian steppes. The story of the Scythians is a testament to the transience of human greatness and the importance of preserving cultural heritage. As the Greek historian Herodotus once said, the Scythians were a great and powerful people, but their empire was built on sand and it was destined to crumble. In the end, the Scythian Empire disappeared from the historical record, leaving behind only remnants of their unique culture and traditions. However, their legacy lives on in the modern cultures of Eastern Europe and Central Asia, a testament to the enduring power of their ideas, art, and spirituality. Join me next as we explore the epic tale of other fascinating civilizations, each with its own unique story of triumph, struggle, and cultural achievement. That's all for today's History with Herodotus. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and until next time, remember that to understand the present, we must first understand the past.